Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Wondering Minds, where we bring all your wonders to light. So sit back, relax, and enjoy learning. Today, we will discuss about the different types of moral dilemmas.
First is the epistemic moral dilemmas. Involves situations wherein two or more moral requirements conflict with each other and the moral agent hardly knows which of the conflicting moral requirements takes precedence over the other. In other words, the moral agent here does not know which option is morally right or wrong. For instance, a veterinarian promised his wife to have a dinner date after his work, but when he is about to leave, an old woman together with her dying dog enter the shop and beg him for help. Where does his actual duty lie? We cannot deny that there are conflicting duties or moral requirements here, but we need to note that we want a fuller knowledge of the situation. Is an important purpose of being served and attend his rare to happen dinner date with his wife? Or how serious the dog's condition? However, one option must be better than the other, only it needs fuller knowledge of the situation. So when we say epistemic means to do with the knowledge of something, this is what this dilemma is all about. We need more information and knowledge surrounding the two options before making an informed decision. Next is the ontological moral dilemmas. On the other hand, involves situations wherein two or more moral requirements conflict with each other, yet neither of these conflicting moral requirements overrides each other. This is not to say that the moral agent does not know which moral requirements is stronger than the other. Hence, the moral agent can hardly choose between the conflicting moral requirements. For instance, one particular individual together with his pregnant wife is at the hospital. His wife is about to give birth, but there is a conflict came during her labor. Then the doctor asked him to choose whom to be saved. It's either his unborn child or his wife. What will be his decision? For sure, we could not tell. The options in this dilemma are equal in their moral consequences, right? This means that neither of them supersedes the other. They are fundamentally on the same ethical level. Therefore, the individual cannot choose between the two.
Self-imposed moral dilemma happens when an agent made two promises that he knew conflicted. Then, through his action, he created a situation in which it is not possible for him to discharge both of his requirements. An example: an immortal beast has been terrorizing the townspeople. They were living in fear and had worried so much that it might be snatched from their bed and be eaten like the others. The king, upon knowing the situation, has promised the townspeople peace. He decided to go to the beast's den for negotiation. When he arrived there, the king then told the beast that he would do anything just for the latter to spare his people. However, the beast has requested for the head of the king's most beloved son in exchange. The king now had inadvertently designed a moral trap for himself, a dilemma in which whatever he decided, he would be acting immorally. On the other hand, a world-imposed dilemma occurs when events beyond our control cause an unavoidable moral conflict. An individual must resolve a moral dilemma even though the cause of it is beyond his or her control. An example: you are facing a situation wherein your mother and wife were held captives in a death chamber. Now, the guards had given you the opportunity to choose who among the two would you save and who would you sacrifice. To make it even worse, the guard told you that if you would not choose, both of them would die.
Obligation dilemma. This is a type of dilemma wherein a person is put in a situation in which more than one feasible action is obligatory. Meaning, if a person is put in a situation where he has to choose between his two moral obligations, then he is experiencing an obligation dilemma. Say, for example, you promised your best friend that you would be there on one of the most important days of her life, which is her college graduation. However, on the exact day when you are about to go, your mother called telling you not to go because she needs you in her checkup. In the situation, you are stuck between two moral obligations, which is keeping your promise and your responsibility to your mom as your daughter. That's an example of an obligation dilemma. Prohibition Dilemma. This involves cases in which all feasible actions are forbidden. In other words, any of the choices of a person is not allowed or forbidden morally. He or she is about to choose a decision where he would certainly do a prohibited action. For an instance, a woman from a country that implements one-child policy found out that she is again pregnant for her second child. She is in a hard situation, whether to kill the child in his womb or to be dishonest to the government and keep the child. Whichever decision she chooses, both actions are morally prohibited: to kill and dishonesty.
Single Agent Dilemma. In Single Agent Dilemma, the moral agent is compelled to act two or more equally the same moral options, but he or she cannot choose both. The agent has both conflicting obligations. In single agent cases, the agent ought all things considered to do A, ought all things considered to do B, and he or she cannot do both A and B. For example, John caught his father cheating. For sure, he felt guilty and started to plan of whether telling his mother the truth to end the cheating issue and just not mind what he have witnessed in pursuit of not hurting his mother, who happened to have heart complications. In this case, John have two equally the same moral options. Although it is the right of her mother to know the truth, John is anxious of the possibilities of losing her mother due to heart complications. That is why he cannot choose both. MultiPerson Dilemma. The situation is such that one agent, P1, ought to do A, a second agent, P2, ought to do B. And though each agent can do what he ought to do, it is not possible for both P1 to do A and P2 to do B. In this case, the actions are still incompatible, but obligation concern different people. For example, a parent is stuck between choosing who among the children will continue pursuing education and who will be working to support the need of the family. The multi-person dilemma requires more than choosing what is right. It is also entails that the person involved reach a general consensus. In such a manner, the obligation to do what is right becomes more complicated to do.
Structural dilemma pertain to cases involving network of institutions and operative theoretical paradigms, as they usually encompass multi-sectoral institutions and organizations. They may be larger in scope and extent than organizational dilemmas. Example of a structural dilemma is the following: the prices of medicine in the Philippines, which are higher compared to other countries in Asia and in countries of similar economic status. Factors affecting medicine prices include the cost of research, presence of competition in the market, government regulations, and patent protection. The institutions concerned may want to lower the cost of medicine, thereby benefiting the Filipino public. but such a move may ruin the interest of legal rights of the involved researchers, inventors, and discoverers, and pharmaceutical companies which own the patent of medicines or healthcare technologies. Organizational dilemma. Basically, the ethical cases encountered and resolved by social organization. This category includes moral dilemmas in business, medical field, and public sector. Example of organizational dilemma. A hospital that believes that human life should not be deliberately shortened and that unpreventable pain should not be tolerated encounters a conflict in resolving whether to withdraw life support from a dying patient. This is a common moral dilemma faced by healthcare organizations and medical institutions.
And that's all for today. We hope you learned a lot from this video. Until next time, never stop learning.